1977 saw the creation of Edison's phonograph, soon followed by Berliner's gramophone. We saw shellac discs and then vinyls in 1950. Cassettes then emerged in the 1980s. Now, we have streaming, CDs, and MP3 downloads. So with all these new technologies, why do teenagers' bedrooms now have record players popping up in them? Is analog technology truly back on the rise?
Nah, not me, mate.
This is Fred, a young and upcoming musician, but he records his music differently.
Well, it's an analog desk from around the early 90s, designed and built in Britain by a company called Allen & Heath, but really it was just a lucky find on eBay sort of thing at the right time, and that paired with a few other things that we got, then made like the basis of the whole studio idea. We're recording onto these Alesis digital audio tape machines, which are also designed around the 90s.
Yeah.
And they're Japanese made. And they record onto these, what would look to you guys like VHS tapes, but they're basically are VHS tapes, but they can hold more data.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, and you record onto them and they have 8 tracks, which or for each machine, which you record on, which go out of the desk into here, and then out of here it comes back into the desk, which is where it's mixed and EQ'd and all that sort of stuff. I get the impression that people are going to start just using both, really, because they can get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You know, they like the ease of mixing on computers because you can chop it up, and you got what they call non-destructive editing.
Okay.
So when you're editing, you can just press backspace basically, and it's all undone. Whereas with analog, what they like is the sound, not necessarily the way you work with it. I do think that the digital thing isn't gonna. I think it's gonna take us quite a while to sort of move on from this. Like the craze.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, it is kind of like the you get more for your money in a way. Like if you go down a shop and you say you spend £5 on a vinyl, you've got yourself like a nice piece of art, and you can open it and you can read like the bits on the back, and it tells you about the artist and whatnot. And like it's more physical. You can see the grooves and everything. But I don't think most people nowadays will have systems that are like quality enough to actually appreciate the quality difference between vinyl and digital, but they appreciate the actual physical.
The physicality.
The physicality of the disc and everything.
Do you think that's quite important to people now?
In a way, yeah, and especially the fact that some of them, you can fold them out and they've got all sorts of special stuff inside of them, like little booklets and things which the band have made up, and artwork, and it's all like a package in itself.
The main outlet for records in Norwich is Soundclash Records. So what does the owner, Paul, think about the resurgence of vinyls?
Okay, my name is Paul.
Yeah.
I work at Soundclash Records here on St Benedict Street in Norwich. Yes and no. The change of quality in comparison to the 80s, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe in comparison to the recent years, and maybe not so much. Some and some. It's a big industry, lots and lots of releases, so lots of different record labels pressing records up. At the moment, everything's coming out as limited edition coloured vinyl. And I think that maybe coloured vinyl isn't such a good quality sound. You get a lot of what you probably call in your business as white noise. You get surface noise. Yeah, colour isn't a great thing for sound. So black vinyl, you don't get surface noise or background noise,
Yeah.
white noise, you get quite a clean, crisp noise.
Yeah.
Obviously, vinyl's not 100% clear because you actually have stylus running on a slab, so you're gonna always hear a slight background noise.
Okay.
But coloured vinyl, which is what most things come out as, if you listen to them quite carefully, they're quite shushy.
Yeah.
So it seems also the lighter the colour of the vinyl, the more likely it is to have surface noise. Well, that depends on what it is, when it was recorded, because if anything was recorded before 92, 93, analog was the only format you could possibly record something in.
Yeah.
So it had to be mastered in analog, so it sounds better as analog.
Yeah.
But after that, you had lots of stuff made digitally, which means that actually stuff that came out from 92 to present day, or nearly present day, actually sounds better on CD. Because it was made for CD, it was made digitally,
Yeah.
and it came out as CD. So if you compare it to, it's never been remastered to vinyl. So if you listen to a vinyl version of that, it isn't going to sound as good as the CD because they never mastered it to ever become a thing.
Okay.
So there's a whole wave of music that came out between 92 and probably 2000 and, I don't know, 10,
Yeah.
that probably only sounds good if it's on CD. Okay, well, my opinion, I think I've got the answer, and this is really important. What you've had for the last God knows how long, probably since the year 2000, is screens, and people have grown up with screens, whether it be mobile phones or laptops or tablets. In fact, it's basically the Facebook generation.
Yeah.
And I'd like to refer to these people as screenagers because that's what they've been. And they're people that have no belongings. They've had no belongings. They've had nothing to collect, nothing to physically own, touch or hold.
Yeah.
I.e., their control has only been on a screen. So I think the reason, to answer your question, people want vinyl, want records, want to collect, is because it gives them control again back in their lives, in their real lives, where it isn't screens. And I think it's not just music industry, I think it's just things in general people want. And I think records is really good because it's all about control. It's all about finding something again,
Yeah.
and then actually holding it, and then actually making it do something. Like physically, you are putting that record on a record player. So I think people are wanting home comforts, real things, and I think we're in a very much a retro stage in time, where things of the old days are back as fashion, as in images, designs,
Yeah.
like record players, and I think this is where we're at again, because I think we've just been absent for so many years with the internet and with mobile phones and tablets.
So from what I've learnt, the resurgence in vinyls is to do with people wanting a sense of owning something. They want to have something in their hands that they can handle, that they can read through and look through. And I think this all boils down to the fact that we've become so disconnected due to technology, phones, computers, that we no longer have physical items like CDs and records. So we want this ability to hold something in our hand and actually use it. People would much prefer vinyls compared to, say, Spotify or MP3 downloads. And I think it ultimately boils down to us wanting to reconnect with the world around us.